Hello YouTubers, this is Session Ace back again with another video. I have here about $108 worth of manga, a graphic novel, and an omnibus. And I have a package here. Speaking of packages, I need to do a shout out. I hope I pronounced this correctly. It's a Swedish channel, although he does most of his videos in English. Shoutout. Shoutout. I hope I did that correctly. Anyway, for my package here, he gets more packages of DVDs and Blu-rays and books and everything else. I couldn't hope to keep up with him. Although, I guess if you factor in Laserdiscs, I do. I picked up another 30 or so this past weekend. I had that open, but I guess I didn't. I've been holding on to this for so long, I don't exactly remember what it is. Aha. It's three CDs is what it is. And all in the same series. I really like this series. It's called Disco Discharge. Each volume is 2 discs. This one is called Euro Disco. This one, Digging Deeper. Some of these tracks I have heard before, and others, no. This volume is called Eurobeats. Actually, I don't recognize any of the groups on that one. The Ritchie family, I have heard of them. Quiet Village. There was a group called USA European Connection. Silver Convention, I have heard of them. Love in a Sleeper. Obviously a train reference. Okay, well, a total of 22 tracks on this one. 20 tracks on that one. And 22 tracks on this one. Okay, Manga. My wife picked these up for me at the Japanese Pavilion at Epcot in Disney World. She picked this series because it was the only series she could afford to get the entire run of, and there not be any holes, because some of the series they had, their inventory had holes, if you know what I mean. The series is a 4-part series called Castle in the Sky, based on the anime film. A lot of bang for the $9.95 buck, actually. Viz Media. Because it's in color. its sound effects, which they helpfully give you a directory and index for at the beginning of each volume. So meaning of each sound effect and which panel and what page it can be found on, which is pretty cool. And I don't know if I mentioned, but dust jackets even. Volume 2. I've read Volume 1 and Volume 2. I just have not gotten to Volume 3. Or Volume 4. And so far I am finding it to be a good series. Okay, now I picked these up last time I went to Books A Million, and I have a general rule that I do not start reading a manga series until I have the first 5 volumes. Obviously I made an exception for Castle in the Sky because there are only 4 volumes to that. But Cage of Eden, Volume 1, in glorious black and white. And Cage of Eden, Volume 2. Okay, I received this package just today. First up we have a graphic novel from IDW. Yours truly, Jack the Ripper. Written by Robert Bloch. IDW Idea Works. Recommended for mature readers. And it's mostly in monochrome, except for where it counts. Or I should say, except for where it is used for effect. Those of you who know your Ripper lore know that the killer tried to throw the police off the scent and the public at large by trying to blame the Jews. Anyway, that was for $17.99. This omnibus comes in at a record-breaking $49.99. I generally don't buy something that's that expensive. However, I was willing to make an exception for this. Star Trek, the newspaper comics. The complete comics 1979 through 1981. However, if you read the spine, it says Volume 1, 1979 through 1981, which makes me think there's going to be a Volume 2. IDW, the Library of American Comics. Now, the reason why Sunday stands out is because traditionally with American comic strips, Monday through Saturday are printed in black and white, whereas with the Sunday strips, they're in color. There are 10 complete story arcs reprinted in here. And somewhere in my vast collection, I have an omnibus by IDW of the Marvel comic run of Star Trek. Star Trek had numerous runs in the comics. They were first published by Western Publishing, who also owned at the time Little Golden Books, which I also collect. They had two main imprints, Key Comics and Whitman. Amongst collectors, there's really no difference in the values, but I prefer the gold keys. Anyway, at the point Western lost it, Marvel got the rights to Star Trek comics, but they were only allowed to use the characters in situations established in Star Trek the Motion Picture. So it was the most limiting of series. And perusing these comic strips, it looks like they had the same limitation. Notice even the uniforms are the same as Star Trek the Motion Picture. Even Ilea. And then Marvel lost the rights to DC, and DC had a really good run. And they started introducing new characters, and they would have sequels to episodes from the original series. And then Paramount said, whoa, you're introducing all these characters that aren't part of the canon, so you have to start over. So they started the DC series over again. That's volume 2, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And they didn't introduce new characters, and thus Paramount said they could. And then it went to, well, for a while you had different publishers publishing different series, like one publisher doing Deep Space Nine and another series doing The Next Generation. And then it went to Marvel with the Paramount logo. It had the Paramount Pictures or Paramount Comics logo on it, but they were done by Marvel or distributed by Marvel or whatever. Anyway, those are actually pretty good. And you have the early voyages, which show you the adventures of Captain Pike and his crew as established in the original pilot episode. So that's really cool. And you had Deep Space Nine and Voyager and Star Trek Starfleet Academy and a whole bunch of cool series. Now the Star Trek comic book franchise is handled by IDW. And they have been doing a really good job. You like traditional comic books format? They publish them that way. You like omnibuses? They gather up the individual volumes and reprint them in an omnibus. You like graphic novels? They do those too. So they pretty much cover all the bases. I'll try and remember to stick a link to Yali Studio Et and IDW down there. I don't want to stick it on the floor. $50. Until next time, stay awesome. Some of these tracks I have heard before, and others, no. This volume is called Eurobeats. Hello YouTubers, this is Session Ace back again with another video. I have here about $108 worth of manga, a graphic novel, and an omnibus. And I have a package here. Speaking of packages, I need to do a shout out. I hope I pronounce this correctly. It's a Swedish channel, although he does most of his videos in English. Shoutout. Shoutout. I hope I did that correctly. Anyway, I really like this series. It's called Disco Discharge. Each volume is 2 discs. This one is called Euro Disco. This one, Digging Deeper. For my package here, he gets more packages of DVDs and Blu-rays and books and everything else. I couldn't hope to keep up with him. Although, I guess if you factor in Laserdiscs, I do. I picked up another 30 or so this past weekend. I had that open, but I guess I didn't. I've been holding on to this for so long, I don't exactly remember what it is. Aha. It's three CDs is what it is. And all in the same series.